Hey folks, this is Donnie. I'm working on a property close to our home. A friend of ours owns this and he asked me to clear it for him, so that's what I've been working on. I had to take a break. It's 10:30 Tuesday morning. Excuse me. So, I've got articles. I want to share some articles with you while we're here. Now, I'm pretty close to the highway. I'm using a wireless microphone because it normally doesn't pick up the ambient noises as easily as the fixed microphone or the shotgun mic. And so I'm going to do some of these. I needed to take a break. I went over to the house and I want to be out here. So pretty out. There's a big truck passing, but I want to share these are some new articles you guys have not heard about, and very interesting to say the least. Fairly long, but we are definitely going to be doing this today. I thought it was one article. It is not. It is multiple articles. Thank you, Brother Don, for sending these. And I've got the other stuff we're going to be getting into soon. Very soon. That was needed. A little in the sun. Okay, not much. Pulled up on this property, and there's not supposed to be anybody here. I've got some of my tractor attachments I left out by the road out there. Let me run up and check that right quick, just to make sure nobody's messing with my stuff. I drove in from that way, so I don't know if I can even get through. I seen a reflection of a truck that here, and I just heard a door shut. All right, let me see if I can find my way through. I'll be right back. Oh. There were a couple of guys just pulled up, and they seen the implements sitting on the side, and they stopped to see how much they were, as though I was selling them. And I let them know they're not for sale. I could use the money by selling them, but then I'd have to spend even more money to replace them, and it's stuff that I have to have just for our daily activities around the house. Well, let's get into this before anybody else pulls up. All right. This one here I thought was really interesting, and Don had asked me, before he sent it, is it something that you guys would be interested in? And I told him, I said, I believe so. Without a doubt, I'm pretty sure you guys will. No matter where you stand with these beings, the Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yetis, skunk ape, whatever you choose to call them. Some people believe in that they're glorious animals or glorious people, and that they're our friends and super beneficial for us, and on and on. And some of you believe that they're demonic. Some of you believe they're spiritual. There's so many different beliefs, but no matter which way you lean, I think this is pretty fascinating. And I think all of us will kind of get a little bit of something from it. If not, then, there's no worries. All right, this is titled Native American Advice on the Danger of Bigfoot Gifting and Entities. Sorry, I got a huge fire ant running all over notebook. I got stung twice yesterday. All right. Oh, start over. I'm sorry, guys. Native American advice on the danger of Bigfoot gifting and entities or beings following you home. The preface reads, the following exchange between a commenter and an American native took place in 2022 on a YouTube video that centered around the real experience of a family who had a cryptid entity encounter them at another location, then follow them home and show up on their property. It also involved a family residence that has been visited by a shadowy large entity that has left 18 to 22-inch tracks. This same being seems to have hung around this same property for over 50 years and has been seen by various family members, leading to the question if this is the same being. Each person must decide how he feels about the information given, but it is interesting and a lot can be learned from Native American experiences and advice. I agree with that. All right, the commenter, this is his words. I know paranormal bonding with cryptids or entities can run in families, at times because of what someone did that opened a portal. Other times the questions remain why these things won't leave and why they continue to terrorize a family. I was told by a cryptid investigator that bad inclement weather activates portals to possibly admit a cryptid. Anyway, the 18 to 22-inch tracks are massive and would make me tend to swing towards it being a very tall Sasquatch who's intelligent, calculating, and aggressive or dangerous when he wants to be. Cryptids have no problem following you home if you actively search them out, so the experts say frightening indeed. I was told by an American native the Bigfoot live a bit longer than we do, hence the amount of years you are in question about, so take care. The American native response. You really have to be careful because the simplest action or gesture can give these beings permission to enter your life, and then there are those that open doorways and all hell breaks loose. I watched a video of an interview with a priest who talked about different stages of demonic activity that can lead up to possession. Thankfully, most cases don't end up with possessions, but the activity and harassment can last for years and in some cases a lifetime. One case that he talked about that has stuck with me all these years was about a young woman in her late teens where the exorcism took over 6 months to help her. He said she had demons, plural, inside of her. As he would perform the ceremonies, they would laugh and mock, saying, "We're not leaving," because she invited us into her life. She started off as a young girl playing with tarot cards and dabbled into the goth Wicca scene in junior high. By high school graduation, she was a full-blown witch with potions, the Book of Shadows, and casting spells and conjuring. Now, most people are not dabbling into witchcraft, but people need to think twice before leaving those apples for Bigfoot and his friends. And then the commenter speaks. Thank you for those details. I believe you. You made some great points for everyone to think about. Even Jeffrey Nadolny on his Dogman Encounters YouTube channel has spoken many times of paying the price in health issues for what he conjured up earlier in his life, which included a big hairy arm reaching down a hay shaft, possible Dogman. And of course, some run across these critters just minding their own business, driving in their vehicle with no occult activity involved. I've heard experts say that, not to feed the Sasquatch, like you said. Very interesting discussion. And the American native's response, you being up to two very important topics. You bring up two very important topics. The first is there's a narrative that's become popular in the last couple of years. The friendly forest people just want to be left alone. This is plain BS. The Bigfoot seek out humans to mate with all the time, and that especially goes for those minding their own business, just trying to enjoy nature and various outdoor activities. I could go on and on about this topic, but for now I won't. The next is on gifting food. We've all heard the stories of Bigfoot becoming upset when people stop leaving them food. Why? What's upsetting them? They trashed my friend's house when she stopped feeding them. They were banging on her walls, running on her roof, and when she left to visit family for a week, they smashed her back door in, destroying her kitchen and threw food all over the house. Other forest animals entered the house, ate, pooped, and whizzed all over. Why were they angry? The little tidbits of apples, cookies, and peanut butter can't help provide the protein and nutrients for just one of those 8-foot-plus beings, much less a whole clan of them. They've managed to survive without these gifts before. Or are these gifts viewed as more of an offering? They view themselves as superior to humans. People who communicate with these beings are told they are ancient people, here before humans. That's more BS. I think they see the gifts of food as a type of oblation offering to them, honoring them type of deal. Don't think this idea is nonsense. How many people say they feel honored to have interactions with these beings? One person told me he was blessed to have them in his life. Blessed? More like a confused mess. Sorry, I didn't mean to write such a long reply, but you did bring up two important topics that people need to be made aware of. Think twice before what you may be inviting into your life with that bag of apples. Peace. That was definitely very interesting, and it does give you a lot to think about. You know, I never left stuff like that. I did get into the, there for just a week or two. I put out some little colored rocks and an oyster shell. I think there's a little army man, a baseball, and just some other little things just to see what would happen. Had a lot of influence from our YouTube channel in the early days to leave that out, and I just wanted to try it. And when I came back, the blue rocks were always missing. They would be taken, and I think one of the clear ones was taken. The army man was taken, but the baseball was destroyed. The cover was torn off of it. It was just completely destroyed, and that was it. I didn't leave nothing else. I don't like them. It scared me even doing that, but I was very interested to see what would happen. But no, I will absolutely not leave any food for them. They've lived too long without us feeding them, and I don't think they need any help. All right, we're gonna get on to this. Let's see this next one. All right, this next one's got a few pictures, and it just shows, it's some map pictures of an ancient area. And I may show them during a live show. We're going to be doing a live show very soon. We're going to get into these other pages that I have that Brother Don sent. This other stuff, cryptid creatures, very, very fascinating. We're going to be starting that very soon. I'm going to get this paper clip set. There's so many gnats out here. I just ate one. I'm sorry, guys. All right. All right, this article is This article is titled Possible Origins of Bigfoot, UFOs, and Other Mysteries. The year of this article is 2022, and the information source is a comment reacting to a Facebook posting concerning the Bigfoot subject and subsequent responses. The preface reads, the following is a lengthy comment from an individual who was responding to a discussion from a Facebook posting that centered around the Bigfoot subject. Whether the reader or listener decides to believe all, part, or none of the historical details given will be left up to the individual. However, there are many interesting details that are believable in certain aspects, and certainly this individual had done his homework on the topic of Bigfoot, UFOs, and other mysteries. Take what you want from the information. All right, this is a comment from James. I would like to try to explain to you who I am and what I have found concerning Bigfoot, UFOs, and some of these other mysteries. I have had access to extremely ancient writings, esoteric texts, and access to many secret societies that many others have not. These writings, along with other personal experiences, have led me to believe these things. I am 46 years old. I worked in Hollywood for 20 years on TV and films. For the last 10 years or so, I have left this work and have explored this country, the USA, and all of its ancient ruins, public and hidden. I have also learned all the Native American and the Mexica, that's the original name of the Aztecs, legends of this land, along with the legends of all the creatures that supposedly once lived here. I have explored and followed the petroglyph trails to their end locations. So, Bigfoot would be the ancestor of the biblical giants. These creatures are not beasts or animals. These creatures are hybrids of us. Let me explain. Ancient texts like the Bible, the Book of Enoch, the Book of Giants, the Quran, the Mahabharata, and the Babylonian cuneiform tablets all clearly describe what these so-called animals really are. They are also hidden esoteric texts in private hands that expand on this in great detail. These texts are fiercely fought over by a small group of people and secret societies. All of these texts explain in great detail that these giants, the Bigfoot of today, are genetically altered and engineered human hybrids. They are actually a bunch of different races of various shapes and sizes, but we are talking about Bigfoot here, so I'll stay on topic. There was a giant catastrophe thousands and thousands of years ago that completely wiped away most of the warring races that were on this planet, back before the Great Deluge finished off what the wars didn't. Humans, another hybrid race, almost completely disappeared except for small handfuls that were scattered across the planet. The same thing happened to the giants, the Bigfoot race. Humans and giants interacted sparsely for the next few thousand years. The Native Americans talk about their interactions with the giants, the Bigfoot, up until about 150 years ago or so, when they get credit for killing the last remaining tribe of red-haired giants in a cave in Lovelock, Nevada. Then the giants disappear from history, but this is not true. The Native Americans did kill the last tribe that was living out in the open air at that time, but we must fast forward to what's going on today. We have thousands of people seeing these Bigfoot in the mountains, forests, and even suburban areas. I say the Bigfoot and the giants are one and the same. These Bigfoots are living in ancient underground systems that go back much more than 10,000 years, more like 50,000 years plus. These are not just natural caves and cavern systems. These Bigfoot are living in and populating ancient areas that tie into the Aztec legend, the legend of Aztlan. That is not its true name, but it's the name given, so I will use it. This land was rumored to span the entire western desert area of the United States and goes much further and includes many mountainous areas. Here's where things get interesting. This all has a lot to do with what Area 51 really is, what it's really hiding, and what they really found there. Area 51 is also part of Aztlan. First off, there are ancient ruins scattered all over the desert surface that make no sense at all if you listen to official stories. These ruins get weirder and weirder the closer you get to Area 51. Until you can get no closer. There are petroglyphs, ancient ruins, and destroyed structures on the base that are absolutely off limits to any human. Yet these are not the exciting things. The exciting things are what they found under the base during the archaeological digs near Groom Lake. During these digs, they found ancient Aztlan underground systems and structures that housed a cache of this lost, destroyed civilization's ancient technologies. These technologies included Element 115 and a few ancient Aztlan flying disc machines once known as Vimanas. See the writings of the Mahabharata. Today we call these craft UFOs and UAPs, Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. The military was actually alerted to this area and a few others back in the 1930s when miners stumbled upon more ancient underground ruins in and around the Death Valley area. Weird versions of this find were printed in a very rare book called Death Valley Men by Arthur Bork Lee, published in 1932. Not only do the Aztecs speak of this area, but so do the Native Americans. They called part of this underground area Shinawav. The entrance the Native Americans spoke of resides in a very old part of Death Valley in Nevada. It's directly between the area we know as Death Valley today and Area 51. This ancient entrance is known today as Devil's Hole. This area is highly monitored by the government today. The entrance can be seen from a distance. It is completely surrounded by cage-like fencing topped with razor wire. There are signs forbidding entrance. It is monitored by numerous high-definition facial recognition bubble cameras, microphones, etc. They claim this security is to protect an endangered fish, but this is a lie. It's to keep knowledgeable explorers away from this ancient entrance. This is one entrance to what the Native Americans called Shinawav. This area also has a very weird connection to Charles Manson and his family. This is the original reason why Manson came to Death Valley in the first place. Along the way, he somehow heard of this long-forgotten underground city, and he was in Death Valley searching for the entrance. He found Devil's Hole and spent days trying to figure out how to drain it, which is impossible, and to gain entrance. Manson and his family were arrested. Sometime in the past, this hole became flooded, partially caved in and impassable, but the legend remains. The hole is guarded to this day by the government and people out at Area 51 via the video cameras. Now, I claim all of this is real and true, but there is much more. These areas are only a small part of Aztlan. There are remnants all under 4 feet, all under our feet, that have not been accessed, but the government knows of them and fiercely guards selected areas. Sorry guys, my phone was talking to me. Let me redo that sentence. I heard something right over here, got my attention, and I went to start reading, and my phone said he's getting on it and started doing something. Sorry about that. All right, let's start over. Now, I claim all of this is real and true, but there's much more. These areas are only a small part of Aztlan. There are remnants all under our feet that have not been accessed by the government, but the government knows of them and fiercely guards selected areas. They hide the petroglyphs and clues. They plot bases on top of ancient lands and ruins, etc. The area known as Shinawav spanned vast underground areas that stretched from Death Valley through Nevada into Arizona. There are still ruins above ground, but most of it is underground. As above, so below. The Grand Canyon is also part of this mystery, and they found part of this underground civilization and their ruins under the Grand Canyon in the early 1900s. An explorer named G.E. Kincaid discovered this area while boating down the Colorado River looking for minerals for the Smithsonian Institute. To read the original newspaper article about this discovery and the subsequent cover-up, search Google for Citadel under the Grand Canyon, or Grand Canyon Underground City. This city is also spoken of by the Native Americans and the Aztec. Now all of these areas, I'm going to wait till the plane passes. I'm hearing movement beside me right here. I heard something back this way, and 3 times I've heard something right here. I'm pretty sure it's an animal because all the birds are raising Cain. All right, I'm going to start that paragraph over. Now, all of these areas lead to vast underground cities from a super advanced civilization that go back to the legends of Atlantis. That is why the Aztecs called this area Aztlan. These two civilizations were connected to each other in our deep, deep past. The Aztec and the Native Americans once lived in these areas thousands and thousands of years ago, and they remember this time and talk of it in their oral histories and legends. The government found an entrance to one of these areas out at Area 51, and that's where they really found these long-lost advanced technologies. This also explains why 85% of Nevada is off limits and highly restricted. What does this all have to do with Bigfoot? Well, Bigfoot are the ancestors of the giants, and they live in some of these forgotten underground areas. They use entrances that are in the deep forest and other areas. I also suspect Bigfoot is highly intelligent, and they let us believe they are dumb, hairy creatures. I claim this is false. I say they have access to some of these lost cities, areas, and have found some of the civilization's ancient technologies, and that can explain why we sometimes see Vimanas, UFOs, and orbs, which is ancient technology, flying around and near the Bigfoot. I think they are using this technology, and we're being misled into believing that all of this is from aliens when it's not. This is all remnants of our deep past. I would suspect that Bigfoot knows when any human wanders near these areas because they are using old technologies. When we get too close, they send out some scouts in this technology, and they play with us and scare us into running away screaming in fear. Sometimes a human is stubborn and ignores the Bigfoot's attempt at driving us off, so they resort to killing and disposing of the pesky human, such as in some cases that appear in the Missing 411 book series. There is actually a lot more to all of this, but I've written a pretty long response already, and I honestly have no clue if any of you will ever read this or not. If you do and want to hear more, then ask me a question in the comments. If you have any questions about these things I wrote, or if you'd like to know more, feel free to send me a message. I will answer you honestly. And if I don't know something, I will say so. Hope you have a great day. And he signs out James. These daggum bugs are irritating me now. That's 3 times I got one in my mouth. All right, now this is Amber's response. Amber says, James, this was an amazing read. I absolutely agree with just about everything you wrote. I do not believe we can chalk up the missing 411 to Bigfoot, though. There are dozens of cryptids that exist that are much meaner, as well as the government taking people. I do not believe that these hairy giants are mean at all. Could one be aggressive or have an attitude? Definitely. But as a whole, they're not. They're very protective of their territories. If we go back and look at the Nephilim the Bible speaks of, then the Bigfoot would be the offspring of human and fallen angel encounters, or as some say, the offspring of Cain. Then you have texts in the Bible stating that the archangel Gabriel destroyed all of the Nephilim. So these demons are the souls of those killed. I'm sure you know this too. With the experience I've had in personally channeling the Bigfoot did not like ETs at all. There are hundreds of alien races, but just because orbs were seen or lights were seen in the sky, I definitely do not believe they're ET. I do see this theory quite often, and I love that you actually did research as well. But mainly I hear they're aliens because of orbs. I've never known an orb to be alien, but they definitely can be spirits or those on the other side. As a physical medium, I've seen lots of stuff that some people would never imagine. So keep up the amazing work. And that's the end of the correspondence. That's fascinating. That's really fascinating. And folks, I haven't read any of this. This is the first time I'm reading it. And I told Brother Don when we first started this, because he had asked me if I proofread them, and I told him no, I'm not going to. Because I want to hear it at the same time that all of you hear it. We're kind of hearing this together for the first time. That's why I mess up a lot on the reading. I get tongue-tied. And if I'd proofread it, I'd be all right, but I don't proofread any of it. I just go with what's there. And every once in a while, there's a punctuation error or a spelling error, and it kind of throws me off a little bit. But, you know, it's when you have a man doing this, one man, our brother Don's doing this, and it's a lot of type and a lot of work to get this stuff into text format and then print it off and send it to me, you're going to make errors. Just one page, I would have made more errors than he has through all of these thousands of pages that he sent. I would have made far greater errors than he has. But he's definitely on key with this. Very smart man. Don's very smart. He knows punctuation. He knows grammar. He's on key. And I greatly appreciate him and all of his hard work. All right, this one here. This has a lot of photographs. I'm not going to show the photographs today. It's not very long, but this coincides with what we're going to be stepping into here in the next day or so, as soon as I can get caught up over here. This is more cryptids. All right, this is titled The Historical Beginnings of Dogman in Michigan and a Recent Sighting in the Early 1990s. The years of this article is from 1887 to the early 1990s. The location is the Manistee National Forest in Wexford County, Michigan, and near Luther in Lake County, Michigan. The information source for this article is eyewitness testimony. The preface reads, according to legend, the Dogman appears every 10 years, and in particular the years ending in the number 7, the most notable being 1987. A disc jockey in Traverse City, Michigan wrote the song The Legend. He wrote it as an April Fool's Day prank, but soon after airing the song on the radio, the station started receiving calls from Michigan residents who said they had seen this creature themselves. The reports began. The first reported Dogman sighting happened in 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan. A group of loggers were working in the area of Manistee National Forest. Towards the end of the day, 2 loggers spotted what they thought was a large wild dog. They chased it down until it attempted to hide near some logs. It was on all fours when they cornered it. Then they got closer, and the creature stood up, and its hind legs made a popping sound. They said it had the body of a man but the head of a dog. The 2 men ran back to their superior and told them what they had seen. As the years progressed, sightings started to slowly pop up in the Allegan County in 1957, and again in Manistee County in 1967. It was only the beginning. A recent sighting in the early 1990s. Luther, Michigan, Lake County. It was during the beginning of December in the early 1990s and just after the first snowfall of the season. An 18-year-old girl had went back of her parents' house to have a cigarette. They had an old barn at the back of the property that was mainly used for storage. The barn was falling apart. The girl heard something in the barn. Animals were always getting in there, so she thought it must have been a small animal like a raccoon or a coyote at the most. She heard sounds coming from the barn and got the feeling she was being watched. After hearing a groan, she threw her cigarette on the snowy ground, hurried inside the house and upstairs to her room. When she entered the room on the second floor, she went to the window and looked outside. She saw a figure standing where she had thrown her cigarette. It looked like a person on their tiptoes wearing a fur coat. As she adjusted her eyes, it looked like a giant wolf in her backyard. She gasped, and the figure looked up at her. She ducked down, hoping whatever it was didn't see her. She waited for what felt like hours before gathering enough courage to take a peek outside, and the thing was gone. And there's a few pictures giving you an idea of the loggers. I'm gonna try to show some of this when we do the show, but that's the end of the articles for today. I just want to take a break. I got pretty hot here a little while ago. I went to the house and got me a jug of lemonade, and I drank all my water, so I'll drink me some lemonade and drink some more water when that's gone. And I decided it'd be a great day to share some of these articles with you. I got so much work to do, I'm not going to be able to. It'll be several days before I can do anything if I don't try to take time throughout the day and make this happen. Guys, I apologize for my absence. I've got a lot of video footage, and I've been going through it for other videos, footage I've taken in the past 2 weeks, and I just, I'm not happy with a lot of the footage. Oh, there's some birds on the ground. He made a heck of a noise when he landed. It kind of startled me. But anyhow, I like to try to share footage that if I do hear something, if I do see something, that hopefully I'll catch it either through the audio or through the video lens itself, to where you guys can see it too. And I hadn't seen nothing, but I've had some pretty impressive audio stuff. And when I went back to edit the videos, it's not on there. It didn't show up. And two sounds, it was at the property, two sounds that I had heard were so loud. It was horrendous. I mean, it was really, really loud. And it scared the tar out of me. One of them, I was walking down to the creek to see how much the water had risen from the rains. And I got about 20 feet from actually being able to see the water, and it sounded like a log, a large log, a gallon jug diameter log, was busted off to my left, which is toward the east or northeast. And I didn't stick around. I looked over there, didn't see nothing. I went straight back to the truck. And before I can get the door open, it happened again, but this time it was up straight across from me. It was close. I didn't see anything, but I was filming. I got out, I locked the gate behind me, and on the way home, I played the video back with my earbuds, and I could hear really well with them. And it did. You can hear the little stuff, the little twig pops here and there, but it did not capture that loud crash. And I don't understand that, but it's not the first time that's happened. It's something that's happened many times in the past, and I don't understand it. I don't think I ever will, but that's all right. It's all good. Well, guys, I'm going to put everything up. Thank you all for sending us the wishing us a happy 4th, happy Independence Day. Thank you so very much. And thank you for the support. And all of you that are new here, welcome to our family. I share our personal life with you all. A lot of the stuff when I am in the woods, the evidence that I find that supports something else being out there other than the wildlife, I share that with you. I am not a Bigfoot investigator. I will not go seeking these creatures out. I have no desire to find one. It's just not in my list of things to do, ever. If I do see one when I'm out there, then I will try to film him. I've seen him before while I was filming, and if you ever come across in the woods, come across one of these things in the woods, it really shakes you up. even if he's off, 100 yards, 200 yards, if he's way out there and you see him, it does something to you mentally. And the first thing on your mind is not filming him, but it's getting out, getting to safety, because immediately I feel like I'm in danger when I see him every time. I have caught some weird stuff on camera, and I don't know what it is with these creatures. Everyone that I know and the people that I trust, to be honest, who have captured them, when they went back and reviewed the footage, everything's crystal clear in the footage except for what they believe was a Sasquatch, and it's a big blur. And I don't understand that. I've experienced that myself, and unless there's a paranormal nature to these creatures, then I don't have a clue why that happens. I've caught deer running extremely fast, and they were pretty clear, crystal clear. Well, clear enough you could definitely tell it was a deer, even off at 100 yards. And I've had these things, I've caught them moving 50 feet from me, and they're blurry. Everything else clear, and they're blurry, and they're walking, they're not running. And I don't think I'll ever understand it. It's not my field. But anyhow, I share our personal life, our home life, what we do, if we're going out places, swimming, when I'm working. I filmed a lot over here the last 2 days, and I deleted the footage about 5 o'clock this morning. I'm not going to use it. I wasn't happy with the way it come out. I don't want to upload 5 hours of going back and forth with a tractor. I'd like to compress it down to give you a half-hour video to where you understand what I'm doing, and it's just part of our daily routine, stuff like this. But I got to get back to work. Thank you for taking the time hanging out with me. If you've made it this far, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for the prayers. And guys, please keep those of us that are in need of prayers, dealing with health issues, mental issues, family issues, job, whatever it may be. Please keep those people uplifted in your prayers. Continue to send prayers out to our sister Sharon Guy. She had a fantastic report from the doctor here, I think it was yesterday. They give her a certain number when they check her. She had the cancer she was dealing with. And on the post-op follow-up surgery, she had to go in for an appointment, a checkup. And her numbers had to be below, I think it was 25. And the number, it has to be below 20 or 25 to be good, where there's no concern, or not much concern. And her number was 1. And that is supernatural. That's the impact of the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost coming into someone's life and doing what they do best. So keep the prayers up for her. Keep the prayers up for our brother Mike Velez, his dad and his sister. They're dealing with one of our worst enemies, and it starts with a C. I hate saying it. I hate saying what it is. Every time you speak it, you give it power. So if you're dealing with any type of illness at all, whatever it may be, try not to say the name. Don't speak it. Just like having a cold. Every time you tell someone, I have a cold, I have a cold, I have a cold, you're going to have that cold for 2 or 3 weeks. Don't give it power. Don't mention it. If you're going to say anything, just mention how strong your body is, how strong the cells are within your body and their ability to beat anything that comes against them. Uplift your own physical body and uplift the Father. Always uplift God. And He'll come in no matter how you believe, no matter what religion you believe in, there's one God. And He's head of all the different religions. He's created everything. The Bible tells us that. Even these, He is the creator. And I know many don't believe that, but, where did Satan come from? God created him. He was one of the angels, one of His most beautiful angels. God's the creator. That doesn't mean that everything He's created is good. A lot of it has turned. Guys, y'all have a wonderful day. I love you all. God bless each and every one of you. If there's anything I can do for you, please send me an email. My email address is just like our YouTube channel here. It is Standing Goats Rescue but it's at yahoo.com. That's standinggoatsrescue@yahoo.com. And I'll definitely be seeing you guys soon. Until that time, you guys be safe. God bless.